Hello everybody, very important lesson today. I can find the average rate of change using f of b minus f of a over b minus a. You know what? Let's just start right with our song. It's a formula. Whenever they ask you for average rate of change, it's the formula that you need to use. You need to have it memorized. So that's why we have our songs. Average rate of change.
F of B minus F of A over B minus A. F of B minus F of A over B minus A. Average rate of change. Average rate of change. Average rate of change. Average rate of change. Average rate of F of B minus F of A over B minus A. F of B minus F of A over B minus A. Average rate of change. Average rate of change. Average rate of change. Average rate of change. Average rate of change.
Yay! So, it's just a formula. It's just memorizing it. Here's how you use it. They have to tell you what you're finding the average rate of change between, because depending on what you're finding the average rate of change between will change your answer. It's telling us it wants it from 2 to 6. So, f of b and f of a are your y values, b and a are your x values. So basically this is a and b, this is f of a and f of b. F of b minus f of a over b minus a. So f of b minus f of a is 3 minus 9. B minus a is 6 minus 2. The best thing to do from here is to just go right to your calculator. Go to alpha y equals enter. 3 minus 9 over 6 minus 2. And I get negative 3 halves. And that's my answer. Number 2, it's asking for the average rate of f of b minus f of a over b minus a. It has to give you a and b, 200 and 500. A and b are the x values. F of a and f of b are the y values. I want you to try it on your own. If you need more time, pause it. 22.36 minus 14.14 over 500 minus 200. So alpha y equals enter. 22.36 minus 14.14 over 500 minus 200. 0.0274. That's my average rate of change. Let's skip ahead to number 4. Now, the first set of problems was where I was given a table. You may be given a table, you may be given a graph, you may be given an equation. In either case, I want to see a table. Again, it has to tell you your A and B values. In this case, it's -4 and 1. And to get your Y values, just pull them off the graph. When X is -4, Y is 0. When X is 1, Y is -2. And we've evaluated functions earlier this year. To find the corresponding Y value, you're just finding where X is on the graph. So, average rate of f of b minus f of a over b minus a, -2 minus 0 over 1 minus -4. Alpha y equals enter, -2 minus 0 over 1 minus -4. Make sure you write 1 minus -4, not 1 minus 4. That will not give you the correct value. And my answer is -2/5. Now, this is a good opportunity to talk about what average rate of change actually is. Average rate of change is the slope of the line connecting those 2 points. That's what average rate of change is. It's the slope of the line connecting the 2 points. Since the function isn't linear, it's not going to necessarily be part of the graph, but the average rate of change is the slope of the line connecting the points, and f of b minus f of a minus, f of b minus f of a over b minus a, that's slope formula. That's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So some teachers give it to you as that. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. I want you to try number 5 on your own. Just as a hint, it has to tell you what A and B are. A and B are 1 and 5. So fill in the Y values for 1 and 5, and then substitute into average rate of change. Try that on your own. Pause it. All right, now that we're unpaused, when X is 1, Y is 112. When X is 5, Y is 48. Average rate of f of b minus f of a over b minus a. 48 minus 112 over 5 minus 1. Alpha y equals enter. 48 minus 112 over 5 minus 1. -16 is my average rate of change. All right, let's skip ahead to the equations. For the function f of x equals 3 to the power of x, find the average rate of change over the interval. So it's 2 separate problems. A is between 0 and 2. B is between -5 and -1. So again, I always like to have a little table. If it gives me an equation, go to your calculator, go to y equals, type in 3 to the power of x, and look at your table. 0 is 1, 2 is 9. F of b minus f of a over b minus a. 9 minus 1 over 2 minus 0. Alpha y equals enter. 9 minus 1 over 2 minus 0. 4. Now for b, it's the same function, but now it wants it from -5 to -1. Again, you will not have the same average rate of change depending on what the values are. So I already have it in my y equals. Now I'm going -5 to -1. -5 is 0.00412, it said. -1 is 0.33333. And to find it, f of b minus f of a over b minus a, 0.333 minus 0.00412 over -1 minus -5. Alpha, let's get out of here. Alpha y equals, alpha y equals, enter, 0.33333, there was a bunch of threes, minus 0.00412 over -1 minus -5. I get 0.0 to the nearest thousandth, 0.082. So one of the things that I wanted you to understand from this particular question is how drastic the A and B values matter. It's going to be a completely different average rate of change depending on which two values you're looking between. And again, it has to tell you what those values are going to be. Let me just pause. Okay. Now, let's take a look at number 8 partially together. This looks like a really hard question, but in fact, it's a really easy question. It's asking for the average rate of change. Average rate of f of b minus f of a over b minus a. It's telling you your a and b values. To get your y values, you're just going to type in the equation and look at your table. I don't care how ugly this thing is, you're just going to type it into y equals and let the table tell you. They love to do this in Algebra 2. They give these ugly, ugly functions. It makes it look like it's a hard problem, but it's actually a very easy problem. All you need to do for average rate of change, if they give you an equation, is type it into the calculator. One thing to be careful of, we haven't really talked about it yet this year, but in this course, your calculator should always be in radian mode. So in mode, make sure you're on radian. In geometry, you're always in degree mode. In algebra 2, you should always be in radian mode. So I'm gonna go to y equals. I'm gonna type that whole ugly thing in. 2 to the power of negative 0.25x times sine alpha y equals enter pi over 2x. I go to my table. I copy down -7, which is 3.3636. I copy down 7, which is -0.2973. And then from there, I just substitute my values in. I'm going to have you do it from here. If you need more time, pause it. -0.2973 minus 3.3636 over 7 minus -7. Again, it looks complicated, but it's really not. You're letting the calculator do all the hard work for you. -0.2973 minus 3.3636 over 7 minus -7. negative 0.2614928571 to the nearest hundredth, that is negative 0.26. Choice 3. So if they give you something that looks really ugly, who cares? Average rate of change is easy. F of B minus F of A over B minus A. If they give you an equation, no matter how simple or ugly it is, type it into Y equals, check out your table from there. All right. 10. Put the functions in order from greatest to least by average rate of change over the interval 0 to 3. So here's where they get annoying. I know how to do average rate of change, but because I have to put them in order, I need to find the average rate of change for each of them. So I need to do F of B minus F of A over B minus A. I need to do G of B minus G of A over B minus A. And I need to do H of B minus H of A over B minus A. It has to tell you what your A and B values are, 0 and 3. So for this one, I'm going to make my own table for 0 and 3. And for this one, I'm going to make my own table for 0 and 3. The graph, when x is 0, y is 2. When x is 3, y is 9. For the equation, x squared minus 2x, y equals, get rid of that ugly thing, x squared minus 2x, 0 to 3, 0 is 0, 3 is 3. So I'm going to do the calculation for all of them. If you want to pause this and do it on your own, I would suggest that. So 7 minus 1 over 3 minus 0. 3 minus 0 over 3 minus 0. 9 minus 2 over 3 minus 0. 7 minus 1 over 3 minus 0 is 2. 3 minus 0 over 3 minus 0. You might be saying, well, I can just do that. I know what 3 minus 0 and 3 minus 0 are. Okay. I don't expect anybody to know anything. So that's why I just use the calculator for this. But yeah, if you know what they are, you don't have to necessarily rely on the calculator. 9 minus 2 over 3 minus 0 is 7 over 3. And if you want that to be a decimal, you can always hit math, option 2, turn it into a decimal, because since we're comparing them, it might be helpful to see what they actually are. So in order from greatest to least, well, the greatest one is H. Then next greatest after 2.3 is 2, that's F. And then G of X is the smallest. So if they ask you to put it in order, you need to put it in order. Find the average rate of change for each of them, and then once you have that, you can order them. Now, this one is kind of like stuff that they like to ask a lot on the SAT. There's a short way and a long way to do it. Basically, it's asking during which interval was their average speed the greatest. So speed is a rate. Average speed, average rate, it's asking for average rate of change. We said that the average rate of change is the slope between the two lines. So the greater the slope, or the steeper the slope, the greater the average rate of change. So basically it's saying which interval has the greatest slope. So let's do 1 to 2 in blue. Let's do 2 to 4 in green. Let's do 6 to 8 in red. and let's do 8 to 10 in purple. Those are my options. So which one's steepest? Well, definitely not the green one, because the blue one is steeper than the green one. The red one is steeper than the purple one. So it's either the blue or the red. I mean, I can see it, but if you can't see it, then at this point, do the average rate of change for both. So for the blue, I can do f of b minus f of a over b minus a. 110 minus 40 over 2 minus 1. For the red, I can do f of b minus f of a over b minus a. That would be 350 minus 230 over 8 minus 6. For the blue, 110 minus 40 over 2 minus 1 is 70. For the red, 350 minus 230 over 8 minus 6 is 60. Which one has the greatest average rate of change? The blue one, which was choice 1. So you can kind of tell that the steeper the slope, the greater the average rate of change. So we can definitely eliminate ones that definitely aren't. But if you're not sure, if it, you narrow it down to 2 or 3 of them, you then could, to be sure, find the average rate of change of each. This next one is pretty much the same thing. We're going to skip it for now. And now something like this. So this question is annoying, but it's not difficult. It gives you a table. It says over which interval of time is your average rate of change the greatest. So you're going to have to go through all 4 choices and find the average rate of change. So let's do it. If you want to pause me and go ahead and try each choice on your own first, I would suggest that. I'm going to start with choice 1. So choice 1 is 10 to 60. So it would be 2591.90 minus 1172.00 over 60 minus 10. Choice 2, $19 to $69 would be $29.90 minus $13.52 over 69 minus 19. Choice 3, 36 to 72, 31, 35, 80 minus 17, 70, 80 over 72 minus 36. Choice 4, 60 to 73, 3186. I'm just going to leave off the decimals to save some space. 2591.90 over 73 minus 60. All right, let's jump to the calculator. Let the calculator do all the hard work for us. For the blue, 2591.90 minus 1172.00 over 60 minus 10, 28.398. choice 2, 2990 minus 1352 over 69 minus 19. Again, I want that as a decimal, so I could hit math 2, 32.76. Choice 3, alpha y equals enter, 3135.80 minus 1770.80 over 72 minus 36, 37.916 repeated. And finally, choice 4, alpha y equals enter, 3186 minus 2591.90 over 73 minus 60, 45.7. Which is the greatest? Well, the biggest number there is 45.7, choice 4. And that's it. So it's a long question, but it's not necessarily difficult. It's 4 questions in one, but as long as you know how to calculate average rate of change, it's really not bad. Same thing. Let's just talk about one more thing, explaining its meaning in the given context. So it wants the average rate of change from 50 to 70. So why don't you calculate the average rate of change from 50 to 70, pause this, and calculate it. All right. Average rate of f of b minus f of a over b minus a. F of b and f of a are the y values. 70 and 50 are the x values. Alpha y equals enter, 306.25 minus 156.25 over 70 minus 50 is 7.5. Now 7.5 what? The top was, the y values were feet, and the x values were miles per hour. So it's feet per miles per hour. Now, but it wants you to explain what it means in the context of the problem. There's a little script to follow. On average, from A to B, the y subject increases, decreases by the average rate of change every x unit. So we're basically just filling in the blanks here. We're filling in what A and B are. We're filling in what the y subject is. We're filling in if it's increasing or decreasing. We're filling in the average rate of change, and we're filling in the x unit. So here, it would be, on average, from A to B, 50 miles per hour to 70 miles per hour. The y unit braking distance, if it's positive, increases by the average rate of change, 7.5 feet every x unit mile per hour. So you're basically just following that script. You're going to see that in the next couple of examples. Follow that script. You can refer to the key to help you as well. And that's basically it. This is a long lesson. It's a 2-period lesson. I basically just spent an entire period creating this. So what I would do is, well, I know we're at the end of it now, but I'll tell you, watch half of it, do half the first day, do half the second day. Day 1, I would really just get up to number 9, actually calculating the average rate of change, and then day 2, I would start at number 10. And that's it. Your classwork/homework for 2 periods is to complete average rate of change. It's asked on every single Regents exam, and I think this is a relatively easy question compared to some other stuff. Have a great day.